Hello my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome finally my friends to a proper official episode of our Planet Zoo community build series, Jamii Conservation Park. Obviously this is supposed to be a Sunday session episode. We're supposed to do this on a Sunday evening, but it's obviously going out on Monday. Reason for that being Dan was way too busy trying to get this sodding project finished. It has been a trial of tribulations, but I am so happy to finally get it done. It's about 90% finished. What I'm going to show you, the obvious thing that still needs finishing, planting. I obviously do so much planting in all of my projects, as you all know by now, that I just never get it finished. But my friends, if you've not yet seen last episode, you're basically kind of seeing what we did anyway right now, but the link is above, my friends. Essentially we did a bison and pronghorn exhibit with a restaurant and a North American celebration sort of education centre, and yeah, that was the official last episode. That feels like forever ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago that went up on the channel. Last week we just did a progress report, which you guys seem to really like. You continued getting your comments in, which was amazing. For people that don't know, the people that just kind of been watching the videos on the channel, I stream now. Not full time, but I stream every day of the week, and so the majority of the builds can be seen on Twitch. You will find the link in the description, my friends, if you're interested and you want to come and watch those streams and join in. But yeah, I stream over on Twitch, and so people have been kind of building along with me for the past 2 weeks, and they've seen that the project has kind of got a little out of control, but I am gonna reveal all in today's episode, my friends. First and foremost, the one thing that I need to bring to your attention is obviously the result of the poll for the brand new zone that you guys were voting on last time around. I'm going to get into some comments as well that go hand in hand basically with the result, but you'll see it on your screen, my friends. Zone A got 2 votes, Zone C got 3 votes, but the landslide victor was Zone B with 14 votes, and basically that is an extension on North America. It's if the map will spin, it's this here, basically these 2 big squares, and this little bunch here. This is what we're going to be unlocking. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it in a minute, because what I'm going to do right now is I'm basically going to press that play button, because we have got to move forward as a result 10 years, my friends. So let's press that play button. Let's let this get rocking and a rolling. And while that's going on, we can go through the comments that you guys have been leaving and read through essentially what we're going to be doing with that extension on sort of North America, you know, with the Zone B being voted for, my friends. You've all been getting in your fantastic comments. I want to once again say that I'm not going to read out every single comment. There were lots of them. I'm just going to read out the comments that I think are most relevant to what we end up doing in the build phase of today's episode. Also, I'm just going to throw it out there as well that I am throwing in a new section for today's episode only, because on Tuesday, tomorrow, at the time of this going out, the new DLC and free update comes out for Planet Zoo. We have an aquatic DLC plus a big 1.4 update, and as a result, I am going to be throwing in a special section in today's episode called The Plan, and essentially I'm going to discuss some things that were brought up and brought to my attention in the streams, and we're going to go through it basically, because we're going to start planning for that new DLC and a few animals in particular. But anyway, let's crack on with this bit first, because this is the most important part, and we can do that after, my friends. So first comment this week comes in from Chewy Gaming. They've said I would pick Zone B to finish the North American zone. I have an idea for the grizzly habitat, if there is going to be one in the future. You could maybe build some sort of mountain and a waterfall with a small lake and name the grizzly area either Grizzly Mountain or Grizzly Falls. I think it would look awesome, and you would add different heights to the zoo. Yes, it's an amazing comment. The reason I'm reading all these out is because then I will reveal to you once I go through them the animals and stuff we're going with. I think it's kind of obvious the animals we're going to go with, and the grizzlies are obviously in there. Ursula Hoffmanova, I think that's how we say your name. I love it. I love the way my voice goes when I'm not sure how to pronounce something, but I hope I've got your name right, Ursula. I said really amazing work. I love it. I vote for B, Zone B. Grizzly Bear is a must-have. So a reoccurring theme already, my friends. A familiar name is going to be read out now, and it is Mr. Nightclive himself. He said, "Hi Dan, it's good to see you back in an official stunning episode. Some things I want to bring to your attention. I'm in for Zone B and C. I think we should do 1 or 2 other animals before construction on another on another area, even crucial infrastructure. For some reason, I've got it written down, not how it should be said. 2, as we are at a point where construction with every construction site we open is more or less finished, I would like to use this occasion to suggest, if you approve, we might not use the next stream for starting another build, but for going through the park building, building by building, enclosure by enclosure, backlot by backlot, and look for details and little improvements we could make and execute. We actually did this live on Twitch. We basically went through, we made sure that everything was hunky-dory, and we've got a list, basically. I'd say I've done about 85-90% of the things that we came up with, but we have a little list that we're working through. I've still got stuff to do, but obviously had a big project to work on first, but I would imagine one of my streams next week, I'm going to get those little things finished off. We could go with the suggestion from the tour video, but also see if something on the way. I also suggest that during the zoo should be open. Now, I didn't do this. Basically, the rule is, gang, and it's going to remain the rule for the entirety of the series. It's one that I'm not budging on, is that this game will be paused while we're building, and it will be paused as well unless it's like an official zoo tour. But when I go on zoo tours and the game is playing, any money made during the course of those tours will not be taken into account and used. They're just going to be simply one-offs. I basically want to do it the way I'm doing it because I want to keep an eye on the time, because as this series goes on, I want to do those little time lapses and stuff, and I want to show you, how the zoo goes. For every 5 in-game years, it counts as 1 official year. So I want to continue that narrative, and playing the game through way too much at the wrong time really messes that up. So yeah, we won't be doing that. It's a fair suggestion, but it's the one rule I'm going to stick with. I'm very open to other rules being changed, but that's one that I kind of want to stick with myself. And then 3 for the restaurant, which, by the way, could use a toilet. I suggest the name the Pemmican Pit, as a nod to the native version of beef jerky. Greetings and regards to the dog daughter, Night Clive. Amazing comment once again, my friend. Always appreciated. Your name will, of course, be brought up again today, because you were heavily involved in the stream, especially when we were talking about planning and stuff for new stuff. Primal Gamer is up next. Looks very nice. My favourite part has to be the gift shop. I vote for Zone B because we can finish the area. Plus, that will most likely add more money to save up for Zone A. My suggestions are: next animal should be walls. Habitat, I think, should have some more varieties of terrain, with pines and a waterfall somewhere. For the little prehistoric podium area that has nothing on it, maybe a couple of wall statues. Say there, this prehistoric walls model called dire wolves. 3, a likely education centre, but some of the walls are a bit plain. Could use some animal silhouettes on the wall. The walls are plain on purpose. Just so everybody knows, I want to bring this to your attention. The walls are plain on purpose. The reason for that is I'm treating it a bit like a gallery. If you go to an art gallery, the walls are white, so that everything pops, and you'll see it in museums and that as well, and I've kind of done it on purpose, so just so you understand a little bit my reasons behind why I've done it. And as for the skeleton structure, I have something incoming. I've actually contacted someone in the community that was on Bro Nation that Zwed sent my way, and he's actually in the process of making me something to go in there, so that will be pretty cool. 4, I suggest that no bear hide on the wall. I don't think any zoo would have animal skins, so I like the skeleton idea. That's all for now. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it, Primal. Another amazing comment. Next up, Sumi. To get a little more revenue, you could add a few vending machines. The North American section is looking amazing. TP structure looks nice, but might need some supports to make it a little more realistic. The info centre is so nice. Love the different elevations and the interior. So neat and clean. Bearskin sounds nice, but now to create it. On the blank walls near the stairs, you could put a poster. I'll put the animal glass and put trim on it. The mural looks epic. Love what you've done with the restaurant. I would have to choose Zone B. Try to finish up North American section and move on to finish the A area. I'm not sure what the last bit means. Maybe that is just finishing off what we're doing. Not sure, but an amazing comment, Sumi, and all taken on board. Next up, we've got Random Goat, and they've said Zone B to continue with the North American area, which, by the way, is looking awesome so far. Would be great to have some sort of cave shot of either the walls or the bears where guests can see through. Unlocking B would also allow to conceptualize the layout of the backstage for the North American area and potentially connect it with the other backstage areas. That's actually a really, really good comment. If I spin this around, let me just come out of that just in case I go deleting anything. It's a really good comment because we need to connect these backstages eventually. So opening this up would help us do it, basically. It's a very... You've kind of looked at things the way I usually look at things when I'm building and whatnot. So that's that. And the last comment this week that I've taken into consideration is that of Fannerals, and she's put, wow, I'm in awe about this building. Next level, Dan. You've really grown into this one. I vote for Zone B so that we can finish off the area, so we can feel this area a bit more finished. I also think this could help the money problems more than a hospital where the guests won't be going. It's a really fair comment, that. A really, really fair comment. The limits of guests you're having might be a problem too, but I can see why you don't want to do it. I've actually upped it by 500 Fanneral off the back of that you leaving that comment. But yeah, I'm keeping a limit on the guests at the minute just because of traffic and whatnot. But I do think we're kind of getting to a stage, and especially after you see this bit finished, where I think we could probably unlock the door to a few more guests, actually. I think we could probably up it even more so. I think when we get to the live section in today's episode, I will go over all these things because I do need to go over staff levels and things like that with you as well. So I think that we will talk about it. Now, as far as today's episode is concerned, basically, this here is all being deleted out. I'm not going to do it now. To be honest with you, gang, I can't be bothered to go in and delete this. We'll just do it while the squares are here. So this section, and this little bunch here are the ones that are getting deleted out. They're the ones that are going to get used in today's episode. Now, the big thing is we need to add a bit of backstage stuff behind here on the back of the shop. I do think we probably need something on here. Also, Nightlife makes a good point that we need a toilet inside as well. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of work to this. Might try and get the planting done. We're going to work on this little backstage area here. And then in the majority of this is where the wolves and the bears are going. Now, I did reveal in a live stream the concept that I was going to go with. If you've seen it, amazing. If not, you're in for an absolute treat. Also, we're going to put in some null exhibits for things like birds, maybe some small mammals and that sort of stuff. And we'll just get it all in this area. I'm going to tell you now, there is some space in the build section that's not been filled yet. Left it open for a reason. And there's some space over here where I just run out of time, basically. I was adamant that I wanted to get this episode out. The reason for it is we are running very, very low on money, my friends. So let's do the good stuff. Let's skip forward 10 years. And let's see what I've built. Okay, my friends, so here we go. A big reveal incoming. Now, I am starting at the same place that we started last time around when I did the progress report. But a lot has happened since that progress report, and I don't want to reveal all at once. So I'm basically going to start in the same place. I've got lots and lots of things to show you, basically. I'm not going to dive inside the restaurant. You see in the progress report last time around that we did a lot of planting around here. You can go and check that episode. I'll link it above for you now, my friends, if you want to go, and check that out after this one. But basically, I showed off all of the planting and stuff we've been doing along here, and also some additions that had been made inside the sort of restaurant and education centre. You will see that we now have a new skeleton here to represent like a saber-toothed tiger, so to speak. So we got that one there. I am actually waiting on one that's being built for me by a lad called Carlos in the community, which is going to be really, really amazing to reveal to you guys to have in the project. And it's amazing that Carlos has actually agreed to do it as well. I just kind of reached out to him on the off chance, and he said, no, it's cool, I'll do it for you. I'll get it done. I'll get something together, which is absolutely amazing. Also, we've put this inside as well. So yeah, we've basically got it all going on. It is slowly getting there. this. We're slowly starting to finish the little exhibit boards and stuff. But yeah, in case you didn't see that episode, you will see we now have a name for the restaurant. We've got a few things on the wall. We've got a toilet in here as well. The restaurant's looking lovely, lovely, lovely. It's all finished now. Mural's finished. I think it looks really, really cool. Really, really like the restaurant, and I don't really think too much more needs to be added on the outside to go with that planting and stuff. You will see we've got a name for the restaurant, the Vista Cafe. That was actually left in last episode, that name. I didn't read the comment out because it didn't really have too much to do with what we were doing in today's episode, but they did leave the Vista Cafe. There were a few really good name suggestions, which is always amazing because naming stuff has never been my strong suit. So first and foremost, gang, before we dive over into the habitats, I want to show you quickly the backstage area because it's all sort of been tied up now. I'm going to say, as I always say, we're probably about 85 to 90% done on the project. The bits that need doing are, of course, planting and a bit of floor work, basically bits and bobs that need throwing about all over the place and that sort of stuff. Most of the internal detailing's done, but there's always just those little bits and bobs that I don't quite get to, and the planting, because of the way that I decide to do planting and stuff, it just takes so long, and it's one of those things that I haven't got to finish. As you can see, look, some plants here that need filling, all the plants around the edge of the building need sorting out and whatnot, but the majority of the bigger ones have been done, and we just sort of really just vegged it up, put trees in and bushes and whatnot. A nice new little seating area for our staff. This is a veterinary clinic that we put in. I think I mentioned this in the progress report episode, but it wasn't finished. But as you can see, it's all done and dusted now. Nice roof on the top. If we dive inside, we still need to do the inside. I still need to do all of the lights and all of that sort of stuff, but the rest of it is done. Like the roof's on, that's amazing. Cameras, bins. I got all of the details that needed doing put on the outside. Got all of the stuff on the roof as well. So it is getting there, slowly but surely. It is getting there. I'm not sure as well, unless you see last episode, you would know what this is. But essentially, it's just an extension on the education centre, and it's like a staff area. Basically, we have a staff centre along with water and power just hidden in here, as you do. But yeah, we've got like a little staff room here. That door actually goes into the education centre. That door that goes to these steps. Basically, that's what I've done there. It's just another route as well for our staff, because our staff can now go in down there through that door and come out the back to get to the veterinary clinic or get to the new exhibit, basically. So yeah, it was like a needed addition and a really cool addition. I'm going to do all the habitats like last, just quickly when I touch upon all of the backstage stuff. But yeah, as you can see, nice little seated area. Planters, they all need finishing off. It is what it is, We've got this now. I'm not sure if this was in that progress report episode, but we've got this. Basically, this is just for aesthetical purposes, but this is going to power the waterfall. Now, I'm going to throw it out there now, my friends. The waterfall isn't done, and the reason for that is they're adding new pieces in the new update that's going to go out on Tuesday tomorrow, and some of the new waterfall pieces are a lot nicer than the ones we've got. This was brought to my attention by Lexi, who's a big part of the community, and so I decided to hold off on the waterfall, and I will do it probably in the next live stream when the update's gone through and we've got the DLC and whatnot, and we'll get that waterfall finished off. I'll explain where it's going to go when we take a look at the habitat. I know last time out we did take a look at the wolf habitat, but I am going to go through it again because I've actually got it all finished, and also I got the bears done, my friends. If you've been watching the live streams, you would have seen I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make that happen, but I have. So yeah, this is just going to be like an area to basically cleanse the water that we've got in the habitats and also power the waterfall and stuff. I just felt like we needed a bit of a unit for that sort of thing. Again, planting, really just trying to disguise this building from majority of angles. You kind of want buildings to disappear, even in the backstage area, and I think we've managed to do that. Now, as you can see, all this plant has all been filled in. It's a lot more I think it's like a lot more sort of like organised symmetry and stuff, because you're trying to make things look really, really pretty rather than, you know, natural in these areas. And so yeah, that's why I've gone with these trees and certain plants and flowers and whatnot. If we come down here, this has been moved. Now this here was here before, but someone made a very good observation in the last video that I put out and said you don't actually have an access point in and out of the habitat for bigger vehicles if anything was to go wrong and things like that. And how are you going to get the walls out? And I thought, yes, actually that's a very, very good point. So I decided to put this access point in here. It made a lot of sense. We've just basically moved this over, and we've got lots of storage and whatnot basically down here, bins, rubbish, all sorts of stuff. We've got these bins for like you know, green waste and tools and things like that as well. I thought it was very much needed. This hasn't been finished, I've just noticed that. Majority of the groundwork has been done, but that's not. And then yeah, if you continue up this way, my friends, that's another entrance exit way down to this point. So yeah, there's 3 points of entry. You can go here, or down the steps. Basically, that's how it's going to work for our zookeepers. And then yeah, if you turn this corner, this is essentially the back of the habitat. There's an entrance exit door here and an entrance exit door at the back. I will go over the hard shelters though when we go and do the exhibits. But yeah, there's trailers, there's bins, there is another power source as well. I put another bench in. There's another power source here, so this is power and water as well, because it didn't quite cover everything, so I needed to add another one over here. So we've got a little power station off the back. It really has become its own like unit, this part here. It is pretty amazing, but essentially that's the backstage area, ladies and gents. Don't want to go into it in too much detail. Some people love this stuff, some people don't, but yeah, there isn't really much more to say. So where this area is concerned, just as a heads up to you guys, really, what all that needs finishing is I need to do the internal stuff on this little veterinary clinic, and I need to just finish off some planting and make it look pretty. But it is pretty much done. So if we come back this way, this is an entry exit for our staff, this door here. It's a quicker route basically, so that's why I added that. We walk through. I'm going to just walk past all of this. I added some fallen logs in with the bison and the pronghorn, because people were saying we probably need that. I tried to put the mud bath in and sink it the same way I did in the gharial habitat, and it won't let me do it, and so for that reason I just haven't bothered at the minute. But I'm going to try and get around that and get the little mud pit area in as well. Someone said that we probably need that, and we probably do. People were saying that they thought it was just a little plain in places, so I've just added some details just to bring a bit more life to the habitat, but I probably will add a little bit more at a later date. As you can see, money is not something we have a lot of. 240,000 is all we got in the bank, and it's one of the reasons I kind of stopped when I did as well, because we do need to move forward just to make cash, if anything. So let's continue round. As you can see, planting still needs finishing in places. I just basically get a bit bored of placing plants because I'm so strategic with the way that I do it, but it is one of those things. We will get to it, my friends. Now, where this area is concerned, you're going to see some slight changes. Now, obviously, this has all been finished off now. I've kind of continued this wooden log design at the bottom here as well, but it's all been filled in lovely now. The planter comes all the way around, and we've got all of these plants and whatnot. We're going to go with this design like all the way along the top and all the way along the bottom. I just didn't get around to it. But what's interesting now, as you come down here, is we have these boards that are basically telling you keep going this way and you will be able to see the wolves and the grizzly bears, which is really, really cool. It's a nice addition. It's something that we did in another part of the zoo, and I thought it would fit lovely in here as well. So it's one of the reasons that I've done it, my friends. But yeah, let's continue up this way. You can see there's some guests that are already on their way up there. Now this is the terrain difference. It is quite vast, isn't it, to that habitat up there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this area here. I was going to put some fencing in, but I thought it's going to take up money, and we just leave it empty for now. But I'm not sure. I was going to put some null habitats in, but we'll wait and see basically, because I decided to put the null habitats in a different spot. Now, you would have seen this on the progress report, but we put this totem pole in. This is actually a waterfall. There's little bits here, but it's actually a water feature, not a waterfall, water feature. So it's a nice little thing. If I press play, there you go. You can sort of see it in action there. That's how it works, basically. So we got that. It's a nice little water feature. I've just gone really heavy on the planting, but we already had this planter in, and I just thought that otherwise we were going to come around all the way here with this planter, and it was probably going to just end up continuing all the way to that point there. And I just thought that is way too much area and space to put planters in. So I decided to put a couple of null exhibits in, and they've really come out nice. Like, I'm not one for null exhibits. I think they're good space fillers, obviously, but I'm just not one for building them and sort of wasting that space, especially when there's not going to be a lot of activity in them. But I think I've done some that really fit the area. I think you could really see animals of the area in there. And I just think they fit and they make the area look nice. So as you can see, I put this nice little seating area in. It's quite open, this bit here. Left it nice and open, continued this log design round. We're going to plant up all round here, and it's going to look really nice because you're going to have all that green space. The restaurant's obviously up high. So really, if you think about it as well, if you're clever where you sit, if you sit here, you can look down and you see the birds or the critters or whatever it is that we got in there running around and whatnot. I think it's quite a little cool spot to eat your lunch. If you look out that way, you kind of get a little view, a little glimpse through the gap at the wolves and the grizzlies, and then you've got this cool little totem pole as well. So yeah, I think it's quite a nice little area. I've gone to the trouble of doing like little information signs, but yeah, essentially this is what they look like. We've gone with that go away green on the back. I know that's a big thing in the zoos. Really dark green door. If we dive inside, there's just like feeding tables and logs and stuff. There's little boxes that they sleep, that they're housed in and whatnot, things like that. And then I went with this glass design on the roof. I was looking for unique like exhibits like this, and there was a really cool one that I came across that had this glass in the ceiling. I thought, yes, that's definitely the route I'm going to go down. I think that's quite nice. Rather than it feeling like just a contained box, there is this natural light that comes through. But this one's obviously a bit larger, and then you continue to come around this way, and then we've got another one over this side, gang. I've made this little sort of information board and whatnot, so there's a bit of interaction basically with our guests and with the area. If you walk up this way, then again you've got another sort of null exhibit, which I think is looking pretty cool. Slightly different, this one, a bit more foliage, a bit more overgrown, but essentially, you know, the same sort of design process is what I went through. I think it looks really, really nice. And then it's got its own little backstage area as well. Obviously, our staff are not going to use it, but you've got to have these things. So staff gate here, and there's one over here as well. And yeah, you'll see there's like a nice little cleaning station. You've got your hose pipe and whatnot. You've got this airlocked door that can go to both habitats, basically. Your tools that you might need as and when you go in. And then, yeah, you come around this way and you go back out. So, yeah, it's just kind of got its nice little, its own little housing unit. And what is good is the way that it's been designed. So, from here, if you're sitting here, you can tell there's habitats here, but you can't really tell that the staff would be cracking on and doing work. And especially when all this planting is, you know, finished. It's slowly getting there, but once it's all finished, you'll barely be able to see that if you were a guest and you were sitting here. You really wouldn't know that was a little area for the staff to go in and out and do their thing. And I just think it adds something really, really nice to the area, especially when you look at it from certain angles. Like if I zoom out for you, it just really adds something to that area. Breaks it up a bit rather than it just being another ginormous planter, which, you know, has become a bit synonymous with the area as we try to figure out ways to fill it in. But talking of planters, there is a huge one here. There's a huge one here, but basically they are the front of what is the brand new exhibit, my friends. We've got wolves to the left of us, grizzlies to the right, and I'm stuck in the middle with you. But yes, let's take a look, my friends, at what we've done. So yeah, planting still needs finishing off, but nice bit of seating on the outside, big planters, they're all going to get filled in. It's going to look amazing. I wanted this to feel really sort of overgrown and natural. I said that, a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the pronghorns and the bison and whatnot, and I think we're definitely achieving it. I've left this spot here at the beginning empty because I would like this area to have its own name. So I'd like to make like a signpost to go at the front of that. We do have this weird obscure tree growing out here, but I quite like it, and then we kind of continued that design as we go along, my friends. So I don't really know what the best way is to show you this. There's a lot to it, and obviously I am conscious that the episode today could get a bit out of hand because we've got planning and we've got zoning and we've got a live section to do at the end, because we definitely need to do a live section with the animals and stuff if we can. But let's just attack it the way that you're supposed to, first and foremost with this bit for the guests, and then I'll show you the habitats either side and you guys can tell me what you think. So you would walk through this way, my friends. Now, first and foremost, I know I'm going to get it in the ear that this is probably a bit low. We do have guardrails along the tops of the walls because that is a thing, but I am thinking that we probably need to add something a little bit more at the top. That, or I need to add a fence that goes all the way around the edge of the planter. There are a few different ways after looking at sources and doing some reading and whatnot that you can do this, but if you've got any suggestions, feel free to throw them my way. If you do put a guest here, they can't look over this. This is still higher than a guest, but the point I'm making is they can just easily at the minute jump up there and jump the wall if they want. It's a big old drop though, the other side. It's a lot high. It doesn't look as high here because of the planter, but it is a big old drop. I think that's when I measured this, that's a 5 meter drop. So yeah, it is quite the drop. So good luck, basically, jumping over if you're that much of an idiot. But yeah, as you can see, the planter does need finishing. But as we walk in this way, I have covered this part here, and there's lots of stuff going on the walls that I kind of need to explain. But yeah, we've obviously got just little bits of education because I think it's very much needed. We come in here, you've got your usual sort of education board that we sort of tend to place all over the zoo, and then on this side we've got some very unique stuff. Now this here and this here is meet the pack. Now we have 4 wolves, we've got 1 male and we've got 3 females. Someone said to me in the live streams that you couldn't just throw 4 random wolves together. It doesn't work like that, and it just doesn't in where wolves are concerned. You usually have one sort of matriarch alpha female, you have an alpha male, and they're the ones that tend to control the pack. So what we've done is we've used the narrative that the 3 females were sisters that we've taken from another zoo that needed to rehome them, and we basically housed them over a slow process with a male wolf that we already had sorted out that was going to come to the zoo, and that's how our wolf pack has basically has got to the point that it has. Now I'm aware we have 4 wolves now, but the pack could get bigger, so there is room all over the place for us to add more family members as and when we want to, if we wish. It was quite the chore to do this, I'm going to be honest with you, gang, but I think they look really, really good. I've designed them in a way that there's interactive buttons, so you could hear someone talking to you about the wolves and whatnot, bit of information on each one of them, and then you'll see it this side as well. So yeah, I really, really like them. I just think it just adds a little something. This here in the middle, you're probably wondering, what on earth is that? Believe it or not, gang, the donation bin is hidden in the wall. This has been designed in such a way that I was able to hide the donation bins. So what I've done is I've just done this little piece here. Essentially, you put your money in an envelope, you put it in the bin, and at the end of the day, someone would come, pull that open, empty it out, and that's your donations. It's so much cleaner and makes so much sense. If only we could do this at every habitat, so we didn't have to look at those really ugly donation bins. But yeah, essentially, you'll see it here. It's hidden in the wall. And I've been able to do that in a couple of different places in this habitat, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's that, my friends. As you can see, this is just the little shelter that goes over the top. it's just tried to use a few different shades of colour basically here, and it really pops. Now we're going to keep on walking forward now, and we're going to come into a very nice looking room. We've gone with a load of different colours. I really didn't know what to do with this room, but I've kind of settled on this design, and I think it looks nice. Now, you first and foremost, the ceiling. Well, that was a job. That was a job in itself. But I just wanted to try this. I'd seen someone else do it, and I quite liked it. And so I just wanted to try it out for myself and see what happened. I think it's actually turned out really nice. If I take the lights down low, let's get a bit of mood lighting in here, you'll see that this looks really nice when it's all lit up. It looks really cool. So yeah, it's turned out quite nicely actually. So yeah, essentially, someone mentioned a cave, and I didn't want to do a cave. Instead, though, we've done like an underground room with a viewing section either side. So you can see the bears this side. Now, I'm giving you a bit of a glimpse into what I've done with the bears here, but you can see the bears, and they've got like a pool and whatnot out the front. So you can see the bears this side, and if you flip reverse and you go the other side, you can see the wolves, my friends. And so you can see their sort of river system. And if you look out, look, you can actually see the wolves all pottering about out there. We've got these little educational things either side, one for the grizzlies, one for the wolves. And then I am, when I get round to it, going to fill these little white squares in with some information on stuff as well. I've got one here for the wolves. I've left this wall plain. And then this side, we've got it for the bears. So we're going to fill that in with some information. And then on this wall, I think we probably need to put something on this wall that's a bit more generic for both animals. But we'll get something on this wall. And then we've got another donation bin. There's actually 2 bins, though. I'm going to be honest with you. There's 2 bins behind this wall. One there, one there. One's for the wolves, one for the bears, but I just did the one bin because that just sort of makes the most sense. And I went with this nice blue, 3 tones of blue, this grey, and just offset it with the wood. Decorated all of the windows. The last time you see this, the windows hadn't even been touched or whatnot, but I've just kind of gone with this log design. I think it just brings in that North American aspect, and then just made some custom seating. There are actually benches inside, so our guests can sit down there if they wish. And that's what I've done there. And then the journey continues, and we start to go up a level now. Now, I've covered this over. I'll explain all when we get up the top, but I have actually put a cover there. And basically, it would be health and safety is one of the reasons why you'd have to do it. And handrails as well, health and safety. You would have to do it on at least one wall, and that's what I've done there. So you come to your first sort of elevated viewing window, and we are actually in luck at the minute that a lot of our walls are hanging about over here. So as you can see the walls out this window, and then you keep going. There's another little window here that you can have a look, and then you come to this little U-bend basically. And I think we needed something for this area, and I thought this is a perfect place to put these little things in that we've created, that we've been using all over the zoo. And then obviously we've got our wolves, our grizzlies, and then you've got one for the grizzlies the other side. Little planter in the middle just to give it a pop of colour. And then someone did suggest that we needed a bit of cover up here, so I decided to just do this design again and covered up the top, and it's worked quite nicely actually. So whoever it was that suggested that, props to you. You go this way, and now you're into the grizzly viewing section again. So you look out this way. Can we see any of the grizzlies pottering about? I don't think we can. They are in there, just probably asleep, knowing our luck. So you keep going this way, another handrail, because it is health and safety, remember, realism. Now, I'll explain this now. So you have to put this in for health and safety reasons, in case some idiot thinks that you can jump that. Stupid, I know, you wouldn't do it, would you? But you have to do it, but it's all guardrailed anyway. So you go this way, and then you come to this roof viewing section, basically. Now, this isn't finished. I think this is going to be perfect for the brand new talks that we're getting in the new update. I think one potentially, placed here, talking to people, because it's really open up here, and I think we'll be able to get a lot of people to come and attend the talks and whatnot. There is seating again. There are benches sunk in here. I just wanted to disguise it a bit more. And then, you've just got this really unique sort of viewing section. Now, this is just ever so slightly higher than a person. It has to be for health and safety purposes once again, but this is a really cool sort of panoramic viewing area. Now you can actually see one of the grizzlies over there in the distance, but yeah, it's a really cool panoramic viewing area. You can see all sides basically of the habitat on both sides as well. So you come over here and you can just see all of the wolves habitat as well if you go all the way round. And that's basically what I've been up to, gang. I've really decorated it all. I think it looks really cool, actually. I think the glass and the wood and whatnot really finishes it off. And then, yeah, just continued this design that I put on the back of the bench on the walls. And, yeah, I think that's a nice touch as well. Finishes off those sections where there weren't much going on. You come this way, and this is your way out, basically. You see your last viewing window, so you can have a look at the bears over here a bit more close up. This side... And then, yeah, more information. Another AMRAL and whatnot takes you down. And then you would go this way and carry on. Once again, the wall is quite low here. It's a bigger drop over the other side. So again, we probably do need to put up some guardrails and whatnot along here just for those silly guests. But yeah, you come this way and the beds change shape and size. And if we go this way, I'm actually going to bring staff path all the way down, and it's going to be another route for our staff, basically. I think it makes sense to do that. So yeah, the planting isn't finished here. A quick look at the wolves, because I've not made too many additions to the wolves habitat. Just a few more trees just to kind of like finish it off and try to disguise the building at the back a bit. I've left it that concrete. I was going to put rocks and stuff on the front. I started doing it and it didn't look nice, so I've just left it with this bare concrete. But what I have done is wherever the bare concrete or walls are along the edge, I've done this log design. I've done this in both the wolves and the bears. Now I know all of you are going to jump on me and go, yeah, but the bears can climb the wood. Now I've researched it. Some zoos will have a concrete wall with the wood in front, and the wood has to be halfway down the concrete wall. Grizzly bears don't actually like to climb. They're not built for it because of the way their shoulders are made. Shoulders are built. They're actually too heavy in the shoulders and the head, so they don't actually like to climb all that much. And they won't climb unless they're really pushed into it, like threatened into climbing. So you don't actually have to worry too much about it, and zoos have been known to put trees and foliage in with the grizzlies because it will help them exhibit more natural behaviour, and they've never really run into any problems. All they've had to do is put guardrails and stuff at the top of the concrete wall and it stops it. And believe it or not, you can do a similar thing inside Planet Zoo and it will work. So I've actually managed to get around it with the grizzlies as well to make it look really pretty. I said I wasn't going to put the wood on the building, but I have, and I think it really looks nice. This was very bare. I've changed the colour as well. You'll see it's like a nice shade of green now. And yeah, we've gone with this wood all the way around basically. So wherever there's bare wall, we've basically gone with this wood design. And I think it actually brings something. Now, the waterfall is going to come out of here. It's going to trickle from this point. It's going to come out of this point. It's going to come out of this point. Basically, it's just going to work its way down in off of a couple of different places, basically. I haven't done any of the water stuff. I'm going to have lots of water movement all in these areas. It will look really great when it's done, but just decided against it for now until we get all the new bits and bobs in the new update and whatnot. But yeah, as you can see, it's just really good. They actually walk across this. It's made so that they can. It's not very deep here, so they can just walk through, but they can swim over here if they wish. You get lots of different views of the walls. The terrain is all over the gaff. It's not flat really at all. It goes down into quite a low exhibit in the middle. And then up here it's quite high, so I've used the terrain and the rocks really to give it a sense of being a lot higher than it actually is. But yeah, the walls haven't really changed too much. Their habitat has had a little bit of work done to it though. We've put lights in, we've put the grates in for when it's cleaned. We've done that stuff. I've also put in power switches. We've put in extinguishers, put in all the bits and bobs we need to, all the aircon pipes, and also this little thing here, a chart to track basically our walls and whatnot. And then yeah, if we go then the other side, my friends, this is where it probably gets really exciting for you because this is completely brand new. But this is the grizzly bear habitat. As you can see, one of the bears is up here. So yeah, basically we've done the same thing. I've covered the walls in the wood, but at the top you will see there's obviously guards and whatnot to stop the bears from going over the top. And you do it all the way around. I wanted to keep this concrete design because I quite liked it. I thought it was I actually think it's a nice look. Some people might not like it, but it's realistic. It is what zoos would do. And so I've kept with that, gone with the wood. A lot of the wood they can't get to anyway because of the way the rocks are, placed and whatnot on the back walls. But this is a bit different, this one. So the water comes through from the walls. It comes in here, but it goes into more of a big pool. And I wanted to do this so that the bears would go in the pool and interact so the guests could watch them splashing about, basically. And there's a nice big rock face. And something I've done here is I put these logs in, because obviously the bears do like to climb a little bit. So we put these logs in and whatnot. They can mess about with the logs. Again, it's a lot lower in places than it is others. It's quite high here, but I've done it low there so they can disappear behind this and get a bit of privacy. And also we've done the foliage heavy at the back so they can disappear if they want up there and get out of the limelight, basically. But yeah, essentially it's the same. I'll give you just a nice little I'll go round slowly as I can, basically. And that is the bears' habitat, my friends. I've done this here. Basically, this is just to protect the building. The water can go underneath. We're suggesting that the water goes underneath through some piping and networks like that to be looked after. Back to that pump up the top, and obviously we've got a pump behind the back of the building. So that's just filtration there. I've gone quite natural with the pond. Now, at first I thought I'd made a bit of a mistake, because really these should be made, the pools and stuff should be made out of material, because then they can be dredged and cleaned and looked after a lot easier. But I decided against it after seeing a zoo that went natural. Basically, they made a natural riverbed system using gravel and these different types of filtration systems that were underneath the gravel. And I'm essentially going to say that's what we've tried to emulate at this zoo with this. And so we've gone with a more natural look. And we can just say that's the design process that we went through with North America as well, because we've done it over there. So we just say that that's what we've done with this zone. But the gates are made out of different material over this side. Obviously, bears are a bit more dangerous, basically. Huge animals as well. But yeah, if you kind of take a look at the habitat from here as well, you can see what I've done, and it's turned out quite nice. As I really didn't know what I wanted to do with the grizzlies, but we got there, and it looks really, really good. But yeah, as I zoom in, I will just take you indoors so you can see the grizzlies' indoor habitats. They are slightly different. But essentially the same. I've done all of the bits and bobs that need to be do. We need a chart and stuff for in here as well. The only thing that's slightly different in here is we do have this. This is something that you find a lot in these sorts of habitats, where the bear would come up to it. You'd open a door, and that you can do feeding, and you can check their paws or take blood and things like that. Whether or not you'd be able to do that with a grizzly, I'm not entirely sure, but I know that like lots of zoos do it with stuff that's a bit more that has a better temperament, like pandas and things like that, and chimps. And so it's just a staple, basically. And then all the switches and whatnot have all been put in, my friends. But yeah, that is essentially it. I'll give you a good overview there of the project, and I think now you can appreciate, my friends, why this has taken me so goddamn long. Okay, my friends, so we come to a section now called planning. I'm going to try and get through this bit as quick as I possibly can. Now, during the course of the live streams last week, you will have seen them on the YouTube channel. I'm going to link one in particular above now. If you want to go and watch it back after this video, you can, and just revisit what people were saying and the things we were going over. But essentially what I want you to do is be leaving your suggestions and whatnot in the chat anyway. Now, the new DLC has a species of caiman and the giant otters. They're both from South America, and this obviously caused a bit of a headache for some people, because we're trying to go with a zoo where we use biome and parts of the world to design and work our way around. And obviously South America is finito. We didn't leave any room to add new animals, and so people were trying to come up with some suggestions. Now, I want to throw some out to you now, and I want you also, along with all the other bits that I ask you to do every time, is maybe start leaving your suggestions for how we could potentially house the animals. Now, I'm just going to put 3 on the table, all right? I'm not going to do any more than that. There are a lot more. There's so many options out there, but I'm going to put 3 on the table. Probably the 3 that I could see working the best at the moment. Now, the first one was given to me by Sander, I believe it was, and he said, this section here where the plants are, how much room is it? And it is actually a fair amount of room. It's next door to this little holding part here. Sander basically said for the otters, this is just for the otters, we could essentially get rid of all this planting, take this fence out. We could then take a section of this area that is for the bison and whatnot away, stick the hard shelter in, and basically have the giant otters in here as another segue into North America. It's not the worst idea. It really, really isn't. And a lot of people didn't mind that idea. That was one. One of the other ideas that people were suggesting was that we potentially move the anteater house and we try to put a staff bath down here. I tried to explain it's a lot of work to do this. It is a lot of work to take a staff bath, but also it isn't realistic to just pick this building up and move it to the back of the anteater house. It would probably have to be destroyed and rebuilt. That's more realistic. And it probably would have to be destroyed anyway. Another option was to start moving animals around and use an existing habitat to build an otter habitat, or an otter/caiman habitat that's obviously split through the middle so the animals don't share, but sort of share the same landmass. One was to move the anteaters in to the tropical house, move the tapirs out and just have outdoor tapirs. The other one was to move the outdoor tapirs on and build something over here because we already had the building. They're the three options basically that were put forward. There was lots of other head scratching and whatnot, but those were 3 sensible options. There was another option as well, and it's probably the one that I personally like the most, but I have to put this out to you guys because you are the ones that are making all the decisions. You call the shots. You know, whatever the majority of the community goes with is what I go with, is what I build. I never just go in and go, no, I'm not doing that, because that's not how this series works. You, the community, are really, really involved in it and will continue to be, basically. But the other one was to do a Rivers of the World. So basically, just do an area on its own, and we take a few animals from the game and we put them into an area. And, you know, the otters, along with some other species of animal, were suggested in the live stream, and we basically just saved them for a later date and do them in another area. What I do want to say though is we do need to plan for the caiman though, and I think that because of the nature of that species, they need to go over in the reptarium, in my opinion. So what I would really love is for some suggestions on the best way we can do that, basically. I would love to know how you think we could fit them over here in the reptarium. Obviously it is very compact. To try and delete buildings and move stuff around is going to be hard work, but feel free to leave me your suggestions on the caiman. I've already sort of semi-decided that I think one of the snakes in here is going to be moved out and the terrapins are going to be accommodated in this building here, which is John M's Monitor Manor. So we're going to put the terrapins in there probably. I've already got an idea on how I'm going to do that. But the caiman, I think we need to plan for them potentially in the reptarium, if possible. You know, we could put them, if we wanted to, we could put them in the South American area. But again, there's going to be lots of moving and shaking, and we're already trying to accommodate the new otters, basically. The other animals that were released in the DLC were the penguins and the seals, but we will accommodate those guys at a later date. I basically though want to make the most of the new DLC because we just didn't do that with the Australia one, so I do want to try and plan in advance, and that's why I'm putting these options to you right now. And now we come to the zoning section of today's episode, my friends. The big reason why I'm doing this is we need money. We're down to about 240,000. We need to move this series forward, and so we do need some money. So even if we don't work on the new zone for the new part of the project, even if we continue to do stuff we're doing at the moment, we still need to open a zone just to move forward, basically, and get us some money. I'm going to put the zones that I suggested to you last time up on the screen now, my friends. I think it's right to do that, to keep those two zones, the one in the African area and the one for the brand new facility, the zoo's hospital, basically, and veterinary base. I'm going to put those up on the screen. So they're already there. You know about those zones. But I'm also going to put another zone on the screen. And it's essentially just going to be a bunch of squares that are a little bit all over the place. But the reason I'm doing this is I would like to just unlock these because they open up larger land masses, and they help me complete backstage areas, and they help me forward think and plan as well. I think really what we're probably going to be doing for the next project is trying to accommodate the giant otters and the caiman. I'm really trying to make the most of the new DLC, and we're probably going to be doing a lot of updating as well. But I just need to move the game forward to get us some money so that we can then work on that project. So they're the zones. You see the three on your screen there, my friends. One's for Africa, one's for a zoo hospital, and the other one is just a few squares that are all over the gaff that we essentially could use just to finish off areas, basically. So nothing massive really there, nothing groundbreaking, but we need the zone to make the money. And so let's finish, my friends, with some live. Basically, what we need to do is some animal management, and I need to talk to you about staff. Basically, I think we're understaffed, basically, is a big problem, especially where our cleaning is concerned. So I need to sort that out. But we really need to go through our animals because we've had a massive influx. That 10 years that we move forward, the animals went a little crazy, it does have to be said. So we need to take a look at our animals. You're going to see our wild dog pack is ever growing. They've been renamed, basically. The wild dogs, they're named after Leanne, who is a regular on the videos and the streams, and her daughters, basically. So we now have new names for those, but the Elizabeth and Charlotte were our pups, and they've now reached maturity, which is pretty amazing. You will see the bison, they're breeding away, which is pretty good. We're probably going to have to move some of those off a site and stuff, though, at some point. Right, now, the big thing we do need to do is our tapirs. We have a bit of a problem here. We've got a lot of tapirs, and we need to reduce the numbers, basically. So we've got two young again. But one of these guys needs to be moved off site. And yeah, I believe it is, I think it's this one here. So we've got our breeding pair. And then we've got a baby, and then we've got a breeding pair and a baby there. So yeah, we need to move this one off site. We're going to release to the wild because obviously they are an endangered species. So yes, off you go. 23 points there. Let's go back to that screen. It's very slow all of a sudden for some reason in the background. Doesn't seem to be moving along very, very nicely. This one is in a box, so we just need to locate you and unbox you if possible. That's that. I'm going to move to an area where it just moves a bit smoother, basically. Let's move it over here. We will take a look at the wolves and the bears before we leave today's episode as well. So that's that done. Let's carry on working our way through. Capuchins are doing really well. We've got lots of juvenile tortoises that I can't wait to reach maturity so we can move them on. So Zorro is our alpha male. We've also got Rashidi and Jafari. Now Jafari has always been here. I think Rashidi we're going to have to move on. I don't want too many males. 2 males is fine. And then we've got the females. We've got even though, so we had this thing where potentially there was going to be some inbreeding, so I had to be careful. So I'm actually going to move Eben and Rashidi on. So we have Jafari, we'll have Jade, Amethyst, Zorro, and then we've got the 2 calves. And I think that makes the most sense. So let's release those 2 to the wild. Someone did say that we could probably make money on the animals, but I would prefer if we release them to the wild because we are a conservation centre. So yeah, I would much prefer that. Obviously, an abundance of baby crocodilians that need sorting out once they reach maturity. So our gear monsters have gone mad again. So you, and you. There's usually 3 that we keep on site at any one time. So yeah, it's probably you. Two females and a male. Release those. So another bunch of conservation points. But yeah, as you can see, the animals have gone crazy, ladies and gentlemen. The frogs have probably gone absolutely nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, beautiful. And I know I'm doing it a slow way, and I know I always say it, but this is just the best way for me to stay on top of things. Keep going. Flamingos are probably going to have to be looked at. I'm not going to do it now, though, but they probably do need to be looked at some point. Because I don't think we got the room for them. An animal has escaped. No, it hasn't. They don't. It's just that section, isn't it? Or has it actually escaped this time? Where is it? I keep having this. It's not so much. It's not so much that they're escaping. It's that when they're on the climbing frames, they end up clipping through walls, and yeah, it's a little bit of a pain. Anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. Yeah, you're going to be sorted out in a moment automatically. Bears. So basically, the bears as well, guys. They're both females. That's the only way you can really actually keep a couple of the grizzlies. They're very solitary animals. We are, at a later date, probably going to build a male grizzly enclosure so that we could set up a breeding program. As you can see, the peafowls are still going strong. Mr. Peabody continues to set records for the age of an Indian peafowl, peacock, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, we're still waiting for the day we can move our males, basically. This guy here, I might release, because it was only these two, the original two, that we were going to keep behind. So I might release him, but I'm just going to do him with other players. Right, Leo, unfortunately, was named by a fan rule, but Leo has to go because we can't have this many Jaguars, because it just wouldn't be very realistic. So Leo's off. So let's release those two. We get a lot of conservation points for releasing a Jaguar to the wild, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, as you can see, gang, lots and lots of animal work to be done. This is why I needed to do this, and this is why we need to do a little live section as well. Right, so we actually need to get a male Komodo dragon at some point. We can't use these because they are the siblings of Diane, so we can't use them. So I might look into that in a moment. Right, these frogs have clearly got out of control. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It must be you. Or is it you? Oh my god, there's so many of them. Oh my god, there's so many. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god, they are they're out of control. Okay, we'll get rid of quite a lot of those guys. I must have been really forgetting about that. One of them can't be released. Okay, not a problem. We'll release what we can release. It really has got out of hand. That 10 years, the animals just seem to go through a bit of a baby boom. There's still a lot there. There's still 2 males in here. You can probably go. Yeah, we'll release you. Pronghorns are breeding like rabbits. And then I've got to go through the lemurs at some point, but I'm not going to do that today. You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll leave one of these guys behind. Move you on. Keep going down. Have they reached maturity? I think they might have, you know. Right, let's release you. Right, I need to check that. I think the salties might have reached maturity, which would be a problem in that nursery pool if they have. No, it still says juvenile. They look like they were slightly bigger. There's our wolves, and yeah, that's that. So basically, we're about where we need to be with the animals. Now, the bit I wanted to mention about the staff before we leave today's episode is basically I've just noticed a load of rubbish. You'll see it here. Look at all the rubbish. It is all over the gaff. I don't know why we're getting it down here. I've added bins and whatnot to try and get around it. But yeah, we're getting quite a bit. And then when I was looking at the staff levels, and I looked at our janitors, we only have 12. And I'm not sure if 12 cleaners would actually be enough for a zoo of this size. So yeah, feel free to let me know what you think we need to do there. We only have 3 vets as well. Would 3 vets be enough for this many animals? If I click on this and I show you, 32 species, 185 animals. I'm not sure if that would be the case. But yeah, basically, that's my friends. I'm going to come over here so that you can get a good view of what's going on over here. So you get a view of the bears. Bears are at the back. Don't seem to want to come up into the habitat at the moment. Oh, as I say that, one comes charging out. So yeah, these are our grizzlies. If you would like to name the grizzlies, feel free. Remember, they are both girls, so we would need some names for them. But yeah, I know people were giving me all sorts of suggestions, you know, names for the bears and whatnot. So we got our grizzlies up here, and then on the other side we've got our wolves, my friends. We've got obviously 1 male, 3 females. If you want to name the wolves, feel free to shoot me some names. But yeah, I think that's going to be an episode as we see this wolf walking over here. This one's having a shake. We had to really get a good view of the wolf now from this viewing area. Pretty cool. Probably need to add a bit more up here. I've noticed the wolves don't really come up this end that much, so I need to add some stuff up the end for them. But yeah, that is that, my friends. We are a done and a dusted-o. So my friends, what I need you to do is obviously vote for the zone you would like to unlock the mosted, and that is what we will do. Ready for Tuesday's oh, I don't know actually. I don't know if we will do it ready for Tuesday's stream, because that's not very long at all for you to be getting your votes in. And we'll wait and see, basically, but we will get it unlocked maybe Wednesday at the latest. Maybe Tuesday's Planet Zoo stream we can do something different. But yeah, we'll get it so we can get that unlocked. So vote for your favourite zone, and also leave me suggestions on the plans, on your opinion of what you think we should be doing with the giant otters and the caiman, where you'd like to see them potentially put. And how we can maybe rework the zoo to accommodate said animals. But my friends, I am done and a dusted. Make sure you subscribe, and if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you drop me a like if you've enjoyed this episode. But my friends, I will see you live and in colour on Twitch all this week, and I'll see you next Sunday for another fantastic episode of Jamii Conservation Park. Until then, you stay humble. I'll see you next time.